Welcome to Talking Funny Cars, and boy, do I have a special guest today. Right here from Canada, Mr. Spencer Hyde. Spencer, welcome to the show.
What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, nice to have you, man. It's my pleasure.
Right on.
Yeah. So let's dive right into it. You know, first year driving a Nitro Funny Car, is it everything you expected?
Probably more.
Yeah. I know the program.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. Very different than anything else I've ever driven. Took a few runs to get it figured out, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that a lot of guys that they have to learn when they first drive a funny car is the steering wheel input. The massive amount of input it takes. You know, you come from Pro Mod, and a Pro Mod car, I've driven one, you know, you just give it a little, you feed the wheel and it goes there. That Nitro Funny Car is not that way. I want you to tell everybody about that.
Yeah, I talked about this before, but I thought that having driven a Pro Mod car quite a bit and having some experience in a top fuel dragster, that this thing was just going to kind of be like a, you know, somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
And I couldn't have been any further from right. It having 1,000 runs or whatever in a Pro Mod car probably hurt me in this thing, simply because I couldn't tell myself to, you know, give this thing a handful of wheel at 300 miles an hour to move it back over into the center. So that took me, I don't know, 30 runs to just build up the courage to yank on that thing down there and move it to where it needed to be. But you know, Jim kept telling me, you got to get more aggressive, and it was like, man, I do that with my Pro Mod, I'm gonna be upside down. And he's like, I get it.
Yeah, literally.
He goes his own way, and he comes back and he goes, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but you can't flip this thing upside down. It won't do it unless you hit something.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Because the side force.
Yeah.
It's unlike a Pro Mod car. The Nitro Funny Car has so much side force.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, you know, I think it was Epping Q1. It started getting down over towards the center line at the finish line, and I just pulled on the wheel as far as I could, and it just moved right back over where it was supposed to be. I was like, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yep. You know, it's funny. I've described driving a Nitro Funny Car like driving a really long John boat. And you have the controller in your hand, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? The motor in your hand.
Yep.
That's what it's like, right? So, you know, between the downforce, the body, and between all the, you know, all the steering linkage winding up, if you will, you know, this much input maybe is not that much at the tires by the time it gets there. So.
Yeah, and I know there's like, you know, deflections in the steering column and stuff like that. Like the funny car steering setup is basically a garden tractor.
It is.
It's
old school.
Very old school. Not a lot of technology there, but it gets the job done. So
yeah. Well, you know, and then other differences. So you obviously from the Pro Mod car to the Nitro Funny Car, you know, the you know, you're stabbing and steering these cars. And you know, how was your Pro Mod car set up in terms of the you know, the transmission? Was it a clutch car? Was it a converter car? You know, what was the difference in the actual drivability of the car?
So it's a converter car. All modern day Pro Mods are converter cars now. So we leave off a button.
Yep.
So, you know, going to a clutch pedal was, I had done it in the top fuel car, but I only put on 18 or 20 runs in Todd Payton's top fuel car. So it was still a bit to get used to, but yeah, just literally no similarities between the two.
Yep.
Couldn't be further apart. So it just, like I said, just took runs, probably 30 or 40 runs before I really got comfortable in there. You know, now I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
in
you
there,
got it down.
Yeah,
we see you got it down.
It's its own beast.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Obviously, you drove the top fuel car. You mentioned driving for Todd Payton. What a great guy Todd is. We all love Todd. The difference between the top fuel car and the funny car?
Again, like more than I expected it. You know, the G's and the launch and the clutch lock up, all that stuff similar, but having that body come down around you and you're surrounded, you kind of feel like you're in a coffin, and the engine in front of you, and you're sitting right on the rear tires. I mean, you can feel everything in a funny car in your ass, and so it's pretty cool. But I thought, like I said, it was going to be kind of just an easy transition, and it wasn't. It was the first car I've ever drove that, you know, I didn't have a handle on right away. And it was kind of beating me up a little bit inside. It was kind of like, man, I don't know if I can do this, but it just took time.
It takes a certain skill set, and it takes a burning desire to want to drive a Nitro Funny Car. Because if you don't have a burning desire for it, I think after a few runs, you're going to be like, okay, I think that's enough.
Yeah, I remember being in Phoenix, and it was only my second race, and watching Ron Capps go out there and, you know, blow the body off that thing first round, and side slap the wall, and this is the horrible deal, and my parents are both there, and I'm thinking, what is my mom thinking right now?
Yep.
Just like, knowing that I'm getting in there and
Yep.
going to go do the same thing. I mean, hopefully not that, but get in the same car. So it's been a pretty awesome experience though so far.
Well, I think we both can attest. I believe that a Nitro Funny car is just about as safe as anything you could drive. I've been through some things you haven't been through, but you've been through some things already as well. And at no point I've felt my life at risk.
No, I mean, thankfully guys like John Force Racing and actually Jim Head. Jim Head's been a huge.
He's a big push on safety.
Big pusher, big innovator for safety.
Yep.
Dave Leahy with the shut-off boxes. He's our co-crew chief.
Yep.
These are two very smart guys that take safety very seriously. And when I get in that thing and see that all the stuff works and all the stuff we have around us, and I feel pretty good in there. I don't ever feel like this could be the last ride.
That's right.
It's amazing how safe they are for how wild these things are.
Yeah. Being a Canadian, racing in America, what an experience, right? That's great. How's it been? So you're following from up there. Are they cheering you on? What's it look like?
It's been pretty cool. I mean, I'm the only full-time Canadian driver on tour in the Nitro classes, or the pro classes. Dan Mercier does a handful or 10 or so, whatever. But it's been really cool. I really felt it when we won the World Series of Pro Mod. Obviously, a huge outpouring of support, especially from Canadians, and even had the people from the Canadian Drag Race Hall of Fame call me up and congratulate me and stuff. So it's been really neat to see what feels like the whole country get behind me and support me in this, and people that I raced with in Junior Dragster reaching out and congratulating me and wishing me luck, and other racers that I didn't think liked me. Some of my biggest fans now. Yeah,
so that's cool. They're proud.
Yeah, it's been really awesome.
You're representing well.
Yeah, so. And,
what about Tim Horton? Doesn't Tim Horton need a Nitro Funny car?
You're damn right he does.
Timmy Horton needs to call my boy Spencer Hyde. Let's make it happen.
I think he's passed away, but.
Family's still alive, though. Tim Horton, man, I love Tim Hortons. I wish they had Tim Hortons in America.
It's the best coffee. They do.
It's the best
Just got to
coffee.
go to the northern states, Ohio, Michigan. They all got them.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah.
The support from American fans, I see it for you.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of America.
Yep.
My parents' winter in Florida. Spent a lot of time here as a kid.
Yep.
Spent a lot of time here traveling to racetracks.
Yep.
Always loved it here. Everybody's very welcoming.
Yeah.
They all make the typical Canadian jokes. So you're so nice.
Yeah, of course.
Where's your maple syrup?
Yeah.
Bring your hockey stick.
Yep.
No, it's been great. The support's been fantastic.
It's fantastic. Spencer, man, Jim Head, legend, right? He's been out here forever. He's owned them, driven them, tuned them, had so much success. What's it like working with him?
Honestly, it's been unbelievable.
Yep.
Jim is a really cool guy. Really cool. He gets that. He gets a hard time from his peers. He's a mean old man, and I mean, he gets animated. Don't get me wrong, and he gets excited, but he is a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Being able to drive his funny car has been nothing short of amazing. So smart. He's a civil engineer by trade. He's so methodical in everything he does, and his co-crew chief Dave Leahy, he's been with him for 30 years. Also an engineer. They're two geniuses in there, and sitting in there and listening to them talk, and I like to think I know a lot about racing, but these guys know so much about the intricacies of these cars and what goes into making them work, and so sitting in that lounge and listening to those two talk is so cool.
Yeah, they're both brilliant, and Jim is a great driver. I mean, to have a crew chief that does currently tune and then drive. How has that helped you in your driving career?
It's been cool listening to Jim give me tips because he's been in the car and he knows what it feels like and knows what kind of things happen in there. So, when he talks, I listen pretty closely and try and absorb everything. When I'm sitting in the lounge, I'm just kind of a sponge. I don't say a whole lot, but when I do, I make sure I know what I'm talking about because these guys are they're brilliant people. So. yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, him and Dave both, I mean, they're such a combo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love both those guys, and I have a great relationship with Dave, you know, and, you know, to have those guys in your camp, you know, is got to be an incredible thing. Jim has always been an innovative guy,
Yeah.
and there's some unique things on your race car, and I want you to talk about those versus any other race car out here.
Yeah, there's probably, I don't know, 50 things on there that he was either the first guy to do, or
Yeah.
you know, some of them we're still the only team that does it.
Yep.
Some other teams have adapted, but for instance, I think Jim was the first guy to check for a mag drop in the warm-up. He'll ground out one mag and then the other, and you know, make sure he sees the proper RPM drop, and he gets that from flying airplanes. I mean,
Yep.
that's standard procedure when you're warming up your Cessna or whatever you're
Force
flying.
it to fail.
Yeah, just make sure that both sides of the ignition's working. We've got the fuel. When I go to the high side, it's on a button on the steering wheel. You don't pull the lever like everybody else. You know, when both cars are in pre-stage, when I'm ready to go in, I just flick the switch. It goes to the high side, and I just go in with the brake. So that was something new. Man, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff, but those are two that kind of stick out.
Yeah, he's an innovator. I mean, when you look at, you know, his career, you know, remember the Top Fuel car, like the Streamliner Top Fuel car, and remember Kenny Bernstein came out with the Batmobile body, and then Jim Head came out with one that was real similar, and you know, it's just cool to be, you know, it's just like you, similar situation. I also drive for a guy that's been doing this forever,
Right.
and I think it makes such a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so far in your career, what's the number one piece of advice Jim's given you that you've taken and instantly saw results in the car?
Probably if you don't know, ask. Like he said,
Yeah.
you know, Jim's not a guy that he hates when people say, I think. He wants you to be either certain about it,
or not.
or ask a question, right?
Yeah.
Don't go in there kind of half-heartedly, like just, either you know it or you don't.
All in or not?
Correct. So that's probably been the number one piece of advice I've taken from him, is just, you know, when I don't know something, I just ask. There's no stupid questions.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that.
Yeah.
He's a very direct guy, and you know, knows both sides of the business. Once again, when you've been a driver and now you're a tuner, you know what the driver goes through. I have the same situation, and I think it's a blessing. You know, because what you have is you have a situation where they understand what you're going through,
100%.
and they understand what you could have done better, or what you did great, or whatever the situation may be.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's been nothing short of amazing. Jim's been a great teacher, and he's so great. Whenever I do have a question, like, he goes into immense detail and tries to give me every little bit of information possible, and it's helpful. Like I said, I just sit in there kind of like a sponge and listen to it all. And the odd time I'll catch Dave rolling his eyes, and he'll be looking at me and winking at me, and then. But no, it's been so cool.
Yeah, and you know. Obviously, you mentioned he's a civil engineer and owns Head Contracting. Obviously, your business as well. You know, how does that cross over? Do you guys talk contracting?
Yeah, the first time Jim called me to ask if I'd drive his race car this year was last November, and we were on the phone for half an hour, and we talked 25 minutes about construction.
That's right.
And about 5 minutes about racing, and so that was really cool. It was just an easy conversation right off the start. I'd never met the guy before. I had known Chad, his son, a little bit.
Yep.
And Chad called me the day before, and he said, "Hey, my dad's going to call you, and he wants you to drive his car, and you know, he is what he is. Just good luck," kind of thing. And so, anyways, but yeah, Jim called me, and we chatted and then we had another phone call, same sort of thing. Called me for half an hour another day, and that's kind of like, we should get together and meet. And he flew up to my house. Was American Thanksgiving, so end of November of last year, and I live right beside the little municipal airport up in Stratford, and he brought his jet in there and came over and walked across the road to my shop.
That's cool.
And we stood in the shop beside my Pro Mod for 4 hours and just chatted, and then we went into town for dinner for another 4 hours. Brought my dad along, and it was such a cool deal. And you know, he said at the end of the night, he's like, "Hey, if this doesn't go anywhere, like, just happy to meet you guys. Like, this has been great." And yeah, really easy guy to talk to, and we got a ton of stuff in common. So
yeah, Spencer, I saw this all green Nitro Funny car being pulled out of the trailer a few races ago. I'm like, what is going on? Jim Head's never had just a plain green Nitro Funny car, and then I caught the story just a couple hours later. So Jack in the green stock. What's it all about?
So my So actually, my grandpa's first cousin, Jack Hyde.
Okay.
I grew up a mile down the road from where he lived, and he was a farmer, but he was a drag racer, and he got me into drag racing when I was 12 years old. He had a '66 Biscayne B-stalker that he called Jack and the Greenstock, and so I go to the races.
What a cool name!
Yeah, it was kind of a play on words of the the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk, and the car was, he was a John Deere guy, so the car was green and he had yellow writing on it, and so anyways, that's the race car that I started going to the racetrack with Jack and the Greenstock, and as I got older, he turned 16, he let me drive it, and won a couple races with it, and that's kind of the guy that got me into drag racing, and then he turned 80 a few years back, and I decided for his 80th birthday we have a local drag race at home that was community sponsored called Stratford Spectacular, and my dad was actually kind of in charge of it for a while, and so anyways, I thought, hey, why don't we wrap my pro mod, Jack and the Greenstock?
I remember when you did it.
And surprise Jack for his 80th birthday. So we did that, and it went over really, really well. The fans loved it, and it was kind of an iconic car back in the 60s locally.
Sure, everyone knew.
So all the old boys just, they
ate it up.
They loved it. So anyways, it went over well. We decided to leave it on for the rest of the season. Well, here we go to World Series of Pro Mod with it still on, and
I remember.
Win the damn race. And now I'm like, well, we can't take it off now.
Can't take it off now. It's good luck now.
It's stuck. So anyways, it's been on there ever since. And then for Norwalk, that being my home race, closest one to home. I knew I was going to have a ton of local people there from Canada, and Jack wanted to come. He's 83 now, so he can't get around as good as he used to. But I knew, I was like, hey, I'll bring him to Norwalk. And so I said to Dad, I said, we should wrap the car Jack and the Greenstock. He goes, that'd be really cool. Run it by Jim. So I did, and Jim kind of was like, at first, he didn't know the story, and I mean, he did a little bit, but he kind of hummed and hawed, and then he come by about 5 minutes later. He goes, yeah, that'd be really cool. Let's do that.
That's cool.
So we did, and we surprised him. We wanted to surprise him at the racetrack, but my PR people decided we had to get it out during the week and into the news, so we had to tell him a little early, which was fine. But he was tickled. He thought that was the coolest thing, and we got home and he said that was the best weekend of his life, and
that's so cool.
It was awesome.
Well, I'm sure he's proud of you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and you don't get where you're at without a lot of people helping you along the way. So, the support system you have, I see it at the track. I've met your whole family. Yeah. They're cool people.
They're great.
Right? Talk about those people.
Yeah. When I was young, I wanted to race motocross. My dad grew up around motorcycle racing, and he saw all of his buddies get busted up, and he's like, you're not racing motorcycles.
You're not doing that.
And I had a buddy from town, Joey Hishin. He raced junior dragster, and I started going hanging out at the racetrack with him a little bit, and I was like, I might want to race junior dragsters. And so Mom and Dad were like, there's seatbelts and a roll cage. Like, sure, why not? Like,
sure.
So we bought a junior and started racing, and I won my first race ever in a junior.
It's cool.
So it's kind of like, hooked right away.
Yep.
And we just kind of progressed our way up, and Mom and Dad were there the whole time. My Uncle Ron, my dad's younger brother, he was with me right from the first junior dragster days all the way up to right now. So they've been huge. My sister raced with me for a bunch of years. She ran top dragster, and won a bunch of races up home, and I'm coming down here at NHRA. Met Courtney Enders a couple years ago. We're now engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's been a huge help out here. She's been out here Erica's been here for 20 years professionally, but they've been around drag racing for 30 years. So
whole life.
They know everybody, and it's been really helpful to have Courtney make those connections for me, and get hooked up with Elin and get hooked up with Natalie Torrance for social media and all that stuff, and just introduce me to all the people out here. And between my parents and Courtney, it's been a huge help.
Huge.
Yeah.
You got to have a support system.
Absolutely.
It's hard. It's almost impossible to do without it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And juggling work, I still am full time at the business at home.
I know the program.
So it's racing's kind of second in my life, but when you do it at this level, you got to prioritize it as well. So it's been a juggling act. So having understanding people around you is huge.
Yeah. Welcome back, Talking Funny Cars. I got my friend Spencer Hyde here, and he is officially ready for the Funny Car Fast 5, brought to you by Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Let's go. Favorite funny car driver?
Ron Capps. I
see that.
Known Ron a long time. I had a Napa junior dragster when I first came out and got to meet Ron. And I mean, let's face it, he's the second winningest driver of all time, aside from John Force.
He's a bad man. Yep.
That's an easy one.
Yep. Favorite track to race your funny car on?
Ooh, Las Vegas.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like Vegas.
Great facility. Got my first Too Fast, Too Tasty win there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
So I'm going to go with Vegas.
Very good. Your favorite funny car of all time? Doesn't got to be one you've driven. It could be an iconic, legendary car from the past, maybe a current car, but your favorite funny car.
I'm going to go the Chi-Town Hustler, Frank Hawley.
Oh, yeah.
Frank's fellow Canadian.
Legendary.
Won a couple world championships.
Yep.
That was a really cool car.
Yeah. Best funny car race you ever remember? You could be in the seat, or you could have been in the stands, or you could have watched it on TV, or it could have been before you're born.
Funny car race ever. I mean, naturally you're going to think 1978 Indy Snake and Mongoose.
Oh, yeah. What a Mongoose won.
But most recently, myself and Ron Capps last weekend, semifinals, one foul.
Yep.
That one stung.
Great race.
That one stung, but it was great to be there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool when you're in the car and you hear him over there, but you don't see him.
Yeah.
That's when you know. That's when you're looking for wind light. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When you have a run like that, you never see him, but you hear him, and then you're always looking for the wind light. So I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
Describe what it's like to drive the Jim Head Nitro funny car in just 15 seconds.
Wild, crazy. It's like you're riding a bull.
Yep.
It's the coolest feeling in the world.
Yep. Nothing cooler.
That's it.
That's it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Funny Car Fast 5 brought to you by Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Be sure you tune in for this episode and all future episodes on the NHRA Fast Channel, YouTube, and all the other smart channels on your television. We'll see you next time.